Have you ever felt when you're going through a life transition that you're doing something wrong? Like maybe you had a job change or a relationship change or midlife change, whatever it might be, and the life you built is no longer working, and that feels somehow like you failed? Well, you're not alone in that. I've felt that too, and that's what we're going to talk about today in this video. Stay tuned. So it's a beautiful day here in November in Idaho. So I wanted to head outdoors to shoot this quick video. The breeze is blowing pretty good, so I can't really walk and shoot. The leaves are falling like crazy off of my cottonwood. I'm gonna have a lot of work to do tomorrow to get these all mowed up. So life transitions, when we're going through them, we can feel like we have really dropped the ball. I remember when I went through college, and I had gotten a degree to be a music educator in the school systems. And then when I got out, I kind of didn't want to do that anymore. I still love teaching music and I still teach it to this day privately, but I didn't really want to go into the schools. So I kind of took a break, but I was feeling at that time that all that time I'd spent in college had been kind of a waste because now I wasn't going to go use it for what I had planned to use it for. And I think anytime we go through a transition, we can feel this way. As it turned out, I have now been a private music teacher for over 30 years. I've continued to play in professional groups. And so there, of course, my education was not wasted because I still use it every day in the music activities that I do. But I did not end up being a teacher in the school system. I ended up becoming a writer, and that's how I earn my money, is in writing. So sometimes we just need this time to figure out where we really want to go and for kind of ourselves to grow to the point where we can step into that next place that we're meant to be. So what happened after that was I went ahead and I got a job as a writer. I started working in a corporation, which talk about being different from what I planned. I was going to be a music educator. Now I'm like, a corporate cog. I'm a copywriter in a corporation. I'm grateful for that experience. It was great. It really helped set me up for a writing career. But after about 3 years, it was like, okay, but this isn't really it either. And again, I kind of felt like, okay, am I failing here to think that I didn't want to keep climbing the corporate ladder, so to speak? And I had already been doing that. I started out as an associate copywriter, and then I went on and was promoted several times so that by the time the 3 years came around, I was managing editor, was getting benefits, there was a higher salary, there's a lot of good things to go along with that. But my intuition was telling me, this isn't really it. I don't want to be here the rest of my life. This isn't what I want to be doing. And I really wanted to go have my own time and be able to write and publish a novel. So again, I went through this transition and went out and became a freelance writer, which again was entirely different. A music educator, corporate cog. Now I'm going out and starting my own business, and I'm going to become basically an entrepreneur, starting my own business, having to run my own business, which I was totally unprepared for. I hadn't gotten any education for that. So again, it was this huge change. And I think anytime we go through changes like this, they're confusing, they're stressful, they cause anxiety. We don't know if we're going the right direction. And we can often feel like we must have failed because we aren't doing what we had planned. We had these plans laid out, and now we're going this entirely different direction. So I won't tell you the rest of the story now just to make this a shorter video, but there have been many more transitions that I've had in my life. And I bet if you look back on your life, you might find that the same thing is true, that you've gone through several transitions. And with the benefit of hindsight, we can say, you know what? Each one of those helped me. Each one of those transitions helped me become the next version of myself. And the point of this video, and what I've since learned, is that these transitions are not unusual. They're like how life works. Life works by taking us to a certain level. Then we get comfortable at that level, and we get competent at what we're doing, and we feel confident about it. And it's like the second we kind of start to feel comfortable, life comes along and churns it up and changes it again. And I don't think this is by accident. I think this is how life helps us to become more and more as we grow. It helps us to evolve into better and better versions of ourselves. It's like we grow each time. And so it's like life doesn't usually allow us to sit here for too long. And now here I am in my 50s. And I thought for sure, now, I could just, relax, just coast. I can have this, career that I've built and just everything will be easier from now on. And that's when my life was like, no, you have to keep growing. It's time to grow again. It's like every so often. I have experienced this in my life. I'd love to hear if you've experienced this too. But every so often in my life, it's like things turn upside down, or things start changing, or things get uncomfortable again. And suddenly I can see that the way that things were going, how I was working in my life, all the things that I learned to manage that part of my life are no longer working as well. It's like suddenly I am required to grow again. These transition times are not abnormal. They do not mean that you failed. They simply mean that life is saying it's time to go a new direction. And it's going to kind of push you usually, even if you're like, I don't want to. For the last 3 years, I think my life has been kind of starting to tell me that it was time to change again. And I was like, no, I don't want to. I'm in my 50s. I should be able to just relax now and just take it easy. And my life was like, no, that's not what's going to happen here. And if you don't do it, then we're going to help you. We're going to kind of push you to doing it. And that's kind of what's been happening. And now that I'm at this point, I'm really grateful for that, because I'm starting to now see more and more of this new person that I'm going to be evolving into, what life is kind of calling me to as my next step. And I can see that that's going to be really exciting, and I'm really going to enjoy that. And actually, with the gift of hindsight, I can look back and say, this is where I've been going all along. This is where life is bringing me all this time, is to what's happening next. So my point in this video is hopefully to help you if you are in a transition period right now too, and you're feeling like maybe you failed, or maybe you should be at a resting place right now, or that you were really hoping that this life you built up to this point would be your success, would be your plateau, would be your life from now on. And if it isn't, and if things are happening that are letting you know that it isn't, that's actually the way it's supposed to work, that's actually perfectly normal, perfectly okay. Life is asking you to grow again. We do so much better when we accept that. I found that when I finally accepted, okay, fine, life, we have to change again. I have to learn again. I have to go through this transition again. When I finally accepted that, things got so much better. I stopped fighting it. I stopped trying to keep my life the same as it was, because I was trying to do that for a while. I stopped, trying to say, look, I should be able to be here and just relax. And life was like, no, that's not how life works. You got to keep growing. When I finally accepted that and realized I was going to have to start learning again, start stretching myself, getting outside of my comfort zone again, that's a really good thing. And once I start doing that, I get excited and my motivation kicks up. And suddenly I'm like, okay, I'm all in now, life. Let's do it. Let's do this new change, whatever this is. Let's go. I'm on board now with this. When I finally get to that point, which sometimes it can take us time, finally get to that point, things get a lot better, things get easier. I have found that things are kind of moving around me in positive ways to let me know that I'm going the right direction. Accepting it helps, and then following the system that I talk about here on Next Story Project, as far as watching for life signals, seeing what they're trying to tell you, and then taking little steps to see if what you're interpreting those signals to mean is actually what they mean. When I say signals, I just mean things in your life that signal it's time for a change and kind of try to tell you which way to go. So it might be, something as huge as a job loss. But it could also be just something like feeling uncomfortable with where you are right now, or feeling like this isn't it and it's time to change, or having a conversation with somebody that makes it plain to you that you need to make a change in life, even if you don't know what that is right now. So those are just some few examples of signals. I'll be talking more about those as we go. You can also get those in my signal decoder system, which I'll link in the description below. But my main goal for this video is just to have you go a little easier on yourself, be kinder to yourself. If you're going through a transition, it's not unusual. That's the way life works. So see if you could get to where you can just accept that it's time again in your life for a change, and that's going to make things so much easier. And meanwhile, I hope y'all are enjoying lovely weather wherever you may be. We don't always get this nice in November here in Idaho, so I'm really soaking it up. Anyway, hope y'all have a great week, and we'll talk more about life transitions next week. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.